Jab. The jab is a straight punch thrown with your lead hand. It's the foundational strike in all combat sports. The mechanics are simple. Extend your lead arm straight forward, rotate your fist so the palm faces down on impact, and snap it back immediately to your guard. The jab is about speed over power. It's the fastest punch you have, used for volume and control, not knockout power. The purpose is to find range, set up combinations, control distance, and disrupt your opponent's rhythm. Muhammad Ali's is a key example. His jab controlled entire fights. He used it to keep opponents at the end of his reach and dictate the pace, then enter whenever he felt ready. The defensive value is huge. It keeps your opponent at bay and creates space when you need it. The jab is the most important punch in boxing and the foundation of all striking systems. Cross. The cross is a straight power punch thrown with your rear hand across your body. For orthodox fighters, this is the right hand. The mechanics generate power through full body rotation. You rotate your hips and shoulders, drive off your back foot, and let that rotation carry through your arm. The purpose is simple. This is your primary power shot. It finishes combinations and carries legitimate knockout potential. The cross covers more distance than the jab because it reaches across your body with full extension. Deontay Wilder's right hand ended 41 professional fights. That's pure knockout power from proper technique. The cross has the highest knockout percentage of all straight punches. It's an essential power weapon in any striking system. Hook. The hook is an arcing punch thrown in a semicircular motion, targeting either the head or body. The mechanics require you to keep your elbow bent at roughly 90 degrees, rotate your hips and shoulders, and let your arm follow your body's rotation. The hook is a power shot effective from close to mid-range. It targets the side of the head or the ribs. You have a lead hook and a rear hook. The lead hook is faster. The rear hook carries more power. The knockout mechanics are important. When a hook lands clean on the temple, it causes rotational brain trauma. The brain twists inside the skull. That creates instant shutdowns. The hook is the most devastating punch to the temple with the highest knockout percentage of any punch. Uppercut. The uppercut is a vertical rising punch thrown upward from a bent arm position. The mechanics start with a slight dip. You drive upward through your legs and hips, and the punch travels in a vertical path straight up. The uppercut is most effective in close range where you can get underneath your opponent's guard. It targets the chin from below. This is the best punch for inside fighting when you're vulnerable to the upward trajectory. Gervonta Davis's uppercut that finished Ryan Garcia was perfectly placed. It came straight up the middle and ended the fight instantly. The uppercut is devastating in the pocket. It's underutilized by many fighters but highly effective when it lands clean. Overhand. The overhand is a looping power punch thrown over your opponent's guard in a downward arc. The mechanics involve winding up slightly and throwing the punch in an arcing motion over their lead shoulder. You sacrifice speed for power. The overhand is more common in MMA than boxing. It counters opponents who crouch low or attempt level changes for takedowns. The purpose is to beat a high guard, counter an opponent ducking under punches, and generate massive power through the looping trajectory. The risk-reward is real. The overhand telegraphs your intent clearly. It leaves you open to counters, but it carries fight-ending power. The overhand is high risk, high reward, and particularly effective against defensive shells and wrestlers who change levels. Straight body shot. The straight body shot is a straight punch targeting the midsection, typically aimed at the solar plexus or ribs. The mechanics are the same as a jab or cross but angled downward. You dip your knees slightly to get the proper angle. The purpose is to drain stamina, slow your opponent down, and set up headshots later in the fight. The effects are cumulative. Bodywork builds over time. Your opponent wilts in the later rounds after sustained body attack. The solar plexus is a specific target. A clean shot there paralyzes the diaphragm and causes an instant wind knockout. The straight body shot is underrated. It breaks your opponent's will and opens up the head later in the fight when their hands drop from fatigue. Body hook. The body hook is a hook targeting the ribs or liver with an arcing punch to the midsection. The mechanics require you to dip and rotate, driving the hook into the ribs with full hip rotation. You target the floating ribs, which aren't protected by the rib cage structure. The liver shot is special. A left hook to the right side of the body hits the liver directly. This causes a delayed neurological shutdown that's unstoppable. The purpose is cumulative damage over time, but a clean liver shot can instantly finish a fight. The delayed effect is unique. A liver shot doesn't drop someone immediately. They collapse seconds later as the vagus nerve response shuts down their body. The body hook is the most fight-ending body punch available. A clean liver shot is completely unstoppable when it lands. Check hook. The check hook is a lead hook thrown while simultaneously pivoting away from your opponent's attack. The mechanics involve throwing your lead hook while pivoting on your lead foot at the same time. This creates an angle and moves you off the center line. The purpose is to counter punch effectively. You catch your opponent rushing forward and they run directly into your power. It's defensive offense. You're throwing an offensive strike while creating a defensive angle simultaneously. Timing is absolutely critical. The check hook works when your opponent overcommits forward. They meet your punch with their own momentum, multiplying the impact. Juan Manuel Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao with a perfectly timed check hook. Pacquiao rushed forward aggressively, and Marquez caught him clean while pivoting. The check hook is a high-level technique that's devastating when timed correctly against aggression. Shovel hook. The shovel hook is a hybrid between a hook and an uppercut. It's an upward arcing punch that can target the body or head. The mechanics create a compact punch thrown at a 45-degree angle with a scooping motion upward. This is an old-school boxing technique that's less common in modern fighting. The purpose is close-range attack. It's effective in the clinch where space is limited. It primarily targets the body. The compact nature generates power in tight spaces where a full hook won't fit. You can throw it when you're pressed against your opponent and don't have room for traditional punches. The shovel hook is a niche punch designed specifically for inside fighting. It's effective but requires a specific range to work properly. Gazelle Punch. The Gazelle Punch is a leaping hook or uppercut thrown while jumping forward. The mechanics cut while you're in midair. The punch is named after Floyd Patterson's signature move in the 1950s and 60s. The purpose is to close distance explosively while generating power through forward momentum. Floyd Patterson's Gazelle Punch was his trademark finishing move. He would leap at opponents and catch them with power shots as he closed the gap. In modern fighting, you rarely see this technique. It requires specific timing and exceptional athleticism to pull off. The Gazelle Punch is largely obsolete in current fighting styles, but was devastating in its era. Corkscrew Punch. The Corkscrew Punch is a punch with exaggerated rotating motion where the fist rotates beyond the standard position. The mechanics involve over-rotating your fist past the normal palm-down position, adding extra torque to the impact. The theory suggests this extra rotation adds power to the punch. The reality is debatable. In modern application, the Corkscrew Punch is mostly abandoned. Standard rotation is sufficient for generating maximum power. The questionable benefit is clear. The extra rotation risks wrist injury because you're twisting the joint beyond its natural range. The power gain is minimal at best. The Corkscrew Punch is a historical curiosity. There's no real advantage to using it in modern fighting. Standard punching mechanics are superior and safer. Hammerfist. The Hammerfist is a downward strike using the bottom of your closed fist like a hammer. The mechanics are simple. Raise your arm and bring your fist down in a chopping motion, striking with the bottom of your fist rather than the knuckles. The Hammerfist is common in MMA for ground and pound, but it's illegal in boxing. The purpose is effectiveness from top position on the ground. You can strike from awkward angles where traditional punches don't fit. There's also less risk of hand injury compared to punching hard targets like the skull. The safety factor matters. You're far less likely to break your hand with hammer fists than with standard punches when hitting hard bone. Mark Coleman pioneered ground and pound with hammer fists in the early UFC. The hammer fist is an essential MMA technique and safer than punches for ground striking. Backfist. The backfist is a strike using the back of your fist in a whipping motion, often while spinning. The mechanics involve rotating your body and whipping your arm around, striking with the back of your knuckles. It uses centrifugal force from the spin to generate power. The backfist comes from traditional martial arts but has been adapted into combat sports. The purpose is creating an unpredictable angle. It's a surprise strike that works from unconventional positions. The risk factor is significant. The backfist telegraphs badly. You have to wind up and spin. This leaves you incredibly vulnerable to counters. It's flashy but extremely risky. The backfist is a low percentage, high highlight technique. It works rarely, but when it does, it's spectacular. Most high-level fighters avoid it because the risk outweighs the reward. Superman Punch. The Superman Punch is a leaping punch thrown while pulling your rear leg up, mimicking a flying motion. The mechanics involve faking a kick by pulling your rear leg up, jumping forward, and throwing your rear hand while airborne. The Superman Punch was popularized in MMA. It's designed to disguise the punch as a kick initially. The purpose is closing distance, getting over your opponent's guard, and generating power through the leap forward. The deception element is critical. Your opponent sees your leg move first and expects a kick, not a punch. By the time they realize it's a punch, it's too late. The Superman Punch is effective in MMA where kicks are a constant threat. It's less useful in pure boxing because there's no kick threat to create the deception. Haymaker. The Haymaker is a wild looping power punch with maximum windup. It abandons all technique for pure power. The mechanics involve winding up dramatically, throwing with full body rotation, and letting your arm travel in a wide arc. The purpose is a desperate power shot. This is usually thrown by untrained fighters who don't know proper technique. In professional fighting, it's rare. Occasionally, you'll see it land in brawls. The extreme telegraph is the problem. Everyone sees a Haymaker coming from a mile away. It's easy to counter and leaves a massive opening for your opponent. The knockout potential exists. If a Haymaker lands clean, it can absolutely end a fight, but it rarely lands against skilled opponents. The Haymaker is an untrained fighter's instinct. It's effective in street fights against other untrained people. Against professionals, it's a death sentence.